And welcome to Cognitive Cuisine, where the mind meets the belly, I guess, or
Yes,
vice versa. It could either way. You know how
it
we
goes
always do
both
it.
ways. It goes both ways.
I am WIZE and my co-host.
I am Yayoi, and welcome.
Well, today we're going to talk about stress management and the power of rituals as well.
Yeah, wow, that's a big one. And stress management is a very hot topic right now. I'd say it's always been, but I think more so now more than ever. Yeah, and I know in my line of work, we tend to use food as a way to manage our stress. And that's one thing that gets us in trouble, I think. It got
Yes.
me in trouble.
But yeah, no, I do agree with you. Like right now, at this point in time, like stress is at an all-time high for a lot of people, especially with everything that's going on in the world.
Yes,
And then yeah, so with for me personally, especially with all the changes that I've been going through and doing
yes,
and having to build new rituals and learning how to completely like start over from eating, learning how to eat all over again because
yeah,
it is difficult, but I am reaping the benefits of me changing a lot of the habits that I had. So yeah, it's work in progress. I have this is like this is for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna be just finding new things to like. There'll be things that I'll be trying, and I'm like, yeah, that don't work. I need to figure something else out, and so
yeah.
there'll be a lot of
Trial and error.
trial and error, definitely.
Yeah. I think that's the only way to really come to a good, sustainable way of life because, you know, healthy living is really about having a sustainable way of life. Healthy can mean different things to different people. Like for me, I can't live without my chocolate or my sometimes my cookies, right? But to me, that's part of my health because that's part of my mental health as well. And you have to balance that. And creating rituals for that is so important. And having rituals, daily rituals, makes it easier to get into that living that lifestyle. Now, yeah, for me, I know that over the years, I've created different patterns and different rituals for when I get up. This is what I usually eat for breakfast, or this is how I would approach activity, and or even sleep, right? Because that's one of the pillars of healthy living is sleep, good food, activity, and managing your mindset or your psychology.
Yeah.
And those are all things that you kind of have to figure out for yourself and figure out what's going to work for you because each one of us is different. What's going to work for me not doesn't necessarily isn't necessarily going to work for you
Yeah.
because we have different lifestyles, we have different tastes in food, different some people prefer, like I'm a sweets person, but other people prefer chips and, salty things, right? And crunchy things. So it's a difference in that. Yeah.
Oh, that definitely is. It's definitely a big change. Even for me, it's learning to really find out what I'm going to be able to agree with. Like, I'll eat this, and like the other day, I had something that did not sit well with me,
Mm.
and I paid the price.
Ah,
I got kind of sick, and it just came all back up. But dad was like, "Okay, I won't be eating that again.
yeah, definitely.
I won't be tasting that." So it's just me learning what foods will sit well with me,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, just basically start planning out more. Like, all right, this is how. I guess for me, it'll be more structure with how
Yeah.
I eat and when I eat and all these different because as well I have to take certain vitamins
Yes.
day. So it's definitely building new, definitely building some new rituals and actually getting more structure as far as time
Yeah,
and what to eat at specific times.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. I think, for all of us that have in- invested interest in our health, that, we have to have rituals and daily habits that work well with our lifestyle, or else it's
Mhm.
not going to be sustainable. And everything has to be sustainable. It can't be a short term thing if you want health for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've caught myself now where I'm reading a lot of ingredients. Like when oh yeah, like I'm learning so much. I'm getting a lot of stuff that come across my feed
Yeah.
to that pertains. Like there's certain things I just won't buy no more.
Good.
That they have certain enrichment that just don't benefit us, and
Yeah.
it's harder for our bodies to break down. So I'm
Yeah.
learning as far as what specific chicken to buy. Um, I'm drinking specific milk now, which isn't really, it's lactose free
Okay.
and it has more protein to it and everything. Because now I have to really start calculating how, because I got to get a specific amount of proteins in
Yes,
daily,
definitely. Yeah.
and so a lot of the food that I have to eat has to have a lot of protein in it, and there's certain things that just won't do me any good anymore. It's just be like can't be eating
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And well, protein is such, I mean, with the keto diet like so popular, in the past few years, people have been focusing more on protein, but you know, we need protein. It's just that you can't overdo it.
Hmm.
Everything needs to be balanced, but protein is such an important thing for our bodies because we need it to build our muscle, to build bones, and also, it's a building block for feeling satiated with a lot of things. And it's something that we need. And I think we overlook it in a lot of ways. We've overlooked it a lot. And now with keto, I think people are paying a little more attention to it. And I think it's also getting good protein, not just protein, but good
Yeah,
quality protein. And knowing what's going to work for your body as well is a big difference because some people do better with I don't know, some people that are vegan, or vegetarian, they need different sources of protein,
yeah.
and that's going to be different than people that are carnivores, right?
Hmm.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, and also along with that, also we're going to talk about stress management because something you do every day is walk. You take and you do your walk, and you also give us the small bites, and so
Yes.
that's something I know that helps you relax and clear your mind and clear some of the stress that you might
Oh
be
yeah.
dealing with.
Yeah, definitely. For me, walking is essential. I mean, I have a dog, so that's actually good, um, a built-in accountability, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a choice but to walk her. So, and it's good for me because it gives me bonding time with my puppy and
Hmm.
also time for me to bond with myself, which is, I know that sounds weird, but I go walking in parks or just near the river. Um, and it's to connect with nature as well because even by walking in the street, I'm like, maybe there isn't that much green. I'll still look up at the sky because the
Yeah.
sky is nature and I could connect with it. And sometimes, I'll be walking and looking up at the sky and I'm like, oh, I better watch where I'm walking. But I'm like, oh, wow, it's so beautiful, and just the blue is, I mean, blue is one of my favorite colors.
Yeah.
So, and purple's my favorite color, but blue is like such so pretty. And you look up at the sky and you're like, oh, wow, this is such a pretty blue. Or like you see certain clouds and you're like, oh, that looks like this, that looks like that, right? Like I go back to childhood, I guess, and I think of all the, when the clouds look like different shapes of like, they look like dragons, they look like ice
Yeah.
cream, they look like,
Oh, and me being a city kid, like I didn't realize like until I would get out away from the city when I would go to Puerto Rico or go upstate New York,
oh yeah,
the stars at
oh
night. So there's sometimes I'll stand out on my deck and just look out at the sky,
yeah,
and that's something as a New York kid you really don't experience because there's so much light in New York City that you don't really get to enjoy the stars
as
as I
much.
do now when
Yeah,
I live up in the mountains now. So
lucky.
and
Yeah,
I get to and when I walk around my community, it's a lot of greenery and a lot of fresh air,
yeah,
and so it's just it's a process I'm getting used to. I need to walk more.
yeah.
Definitely need to exercise more, and I'm
Walking is
again,
the
it's work. It's work in progress. It takes time. I shouldn't act like I'm still a young pup and I can just go out and exercise and do it. No, I need to start slowly but surely and
yes.
get it going.
Yeah, and walking is the best exercise or activity that we can do because, I mean, it's good for our health, it's good for aging because walking strengthens the muscles in your legs. And when our legs need to be strong for us to, as we get older, because we
Yeah.
need to be stable and to have that balance is so important. And walking is really about balancing as well. So, when you walk consciously, it really, and taking in the sights, taking in
Mhm.
nature, the energy from nature, it really calms your nerves. It really reduces the cortisol levels that are going around, right? When you're stressed. So it reduces all of that. And the activity of taking in nature and feeling that gratitude, that also compounds into your body, into your brain, that, oh, activity is actually calming. It's good for my brain. It's good for my body, right? And that's a great way to reprogram any type of activity that you might have. And like I said, walking is such an easy thing for us to do if we, continue. And it's one of the easier ones that we can do. So I love it. It's my daily ritual, as you said. And it's and I do my little lives, yes, my little small bites while I'm walking the dog. Sometimes it's crazy. The dog will take me places and I'm like, sorry guys, gotta go, you know, but, um, but it's good because it gives me also time to reflect, and it also gives me time to think about what message I want to, send, or what I want to, what's on my mind. And each day I'll think of something and I'll say, oh, let me share this, because who knows who it could help, right?
Mhm.
And it's helping me when I articulate what I'm thinking. So it's it's a win-win.
I'm gonna start my walks, and I'm not gonna do small bites, but I might just interact a little more. Like I have this software that I have called Big View
Hmm.
that it's
Oh,
a kind of like a
yeah.
teleprompter
Yep, I
and
know.
stuff like that, and they're improving a lot on it. And I actually used it to go live on Facebook yesterday. It
Mm,
was just a test run. It was just a little test run and stuff like that. So it's something that I'm gonna start using to go live and to cater to one audience. So it's gonna go straight. It's gonna go to my Stack in My Mind Facebook
mm,
page to help promote the podcast and everything. But it's like it's something I can do while I'm walking.
yeah.
It's just and let everyone be a part of the journey that I'm on, and to show other people because I'm part of some Facebook groups uh, that that I've been interacting with a little bit more. That there's some bariatric groups and stuff like that,
Oh, okay, good.
and
Hmm.
and there's people talking about just asking questions like someone who's close to my age put I'm thinking about having surgery at this age, and I was able to let them know, hey, I'm 48. I just had the surgery in January. It's the best decision I made in my life.
Yeah.
Yes, I miss out on some foods, but it, health wise, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
I sleep much better. My feet, like I've been telling you, my the swelling in my feet has really subsided. I don't even it doesn't swell. My feet don't hurt. But now the work really begins because now I'm losing the weight. So now I need to start building the muscles, start toning it up, and
Hmm.
working on that, and working on the stomach. And but
Yeah.
it takes the work. I have to put the work in.
Oh, yeah.
Point
Yeah.
blank.
Yeah. And I mean, you have to think of your body kind of like as, like your car, or
Mhm.
it, you have to maintain it,
Yeah,
like your home even, right? It is really your home in a lot of ways,
it
right?
is.
It's like a container that you are housed in, and you have to take care of it because honestly, it has to last. Well, for me, it's got to last more than 100 years. So, you know, I have to take care of it in order for it to last that long. I mean, with anything, a home, car, you have to maintain it in certain ways. You have to do periodic checks. You have to, do things so that it stays functioning. That things are, if something seems a little loose, you have to go and fix it in your house, right? Or a
Yeah,
car, you have to change the tires. You have to make sure that the treads are not worn out, things like that. And I think it's the same with our bodies.
yeah. It definitely is. It's been just like I already know that my wardrobe is gonna completely change because
Oh,
some of
yeah.
the clothes that I have now is fitting me big, and I'm talking about I'm wearing pants that um I've never worn before because they just didn't fit, and so now I'm going and I'm putting them on, and it's like, okay, I fit these now, but I know I'm gonna get lose more weight and go down some more, and so it's helped me with some self-esteem issues that I have.
Mm,
Like being so big was holding me back in wanting to do coaching and wanting to do public speaking because of self-conscious issues that I had within myself, because I was like, who would want to learn anything from me? Look at this, my size. I can't control myself. I can't. So it was these things that were hindering me, and now being able to do to come out and again look at myself in the mirror and be like,
yeah.
okay, gaining that confidence
Yeah.
and and it's helped a lot with my stress as well too, because now I'm looking at myself and I'm not worried about having to take my diabetic medication pills or whatever, or high blood pressure pills. So it's relieving some of that stress that I've had in my life, not
Yeah.
knowing that I no longer have to take these medications
Yeah.
that
Right.
are more not really helping me, not helping to cure me. It's just helping me to maintain, and that's not how I want to live.
Oh. Yeah, because those medications are more like Band-Aids,
Hmm.
not getting to the root cause. And by taking the massive action that you've taken, right, you're actually changing the root, or you're getting to the root cause, and you're making big changes, and you're creating a new identity for yourself. So it's going to be a little bit of trial and error as well. And, it's never easy to create a new identity, but like the qualities that you want in your
Yeah.
ideal identity. So, you know, just say old you, new you, how
Yeah.
you're going to change. Yeah.
But when you say new identity, right? I still it's I still feel like myself. Like
Yes.
like there's certain things that I wouldn't change about myself,
Oh,
and
yeah.
uh, but yeah, like mentally, it's been a really big change for me, because now I'm realizing, like, okay, if you can do this, if you can stick to your meal planning and doing everything and all that, then there's other things in your life that you can kind of do the
Yeah,
same thing to it, apply the same structure to it, so you can change overall, change
yeah,
everything. And so yeah, so it's really been a lesson. Um,
yeah. Wow.
am I still learning? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm only almost 2 months into my journey. Even though I started in November, but as far as after surgery, I'm only 2 months in.
Yeah.
So I'm still growing and learning, and of course I have my little hiccups in the road and stuff like that. But it's like, okay, just like you said, trial and error. Just be
Yeah.
like, yep, this doesn't work for me.
Yep.
Need to try this.
Yeah, and I love that attitude because you need to have that attitude. It's trial and error, and celebrate each accomplishment that you make, even if it isn't what a good fit. At least you tried it. So
Yeah.
these are like all celebrations that you have to celebrate yourself for doing because most people wouldn't even try to do this, right? Like somebody had said to me the other day. Um, I don't wanna be in the same position that I'm in right now a year from now.
But what are they doing to change
Eh
though?
yeah, if they're not doing any exactly. If they haven't done anything to change, nothing's gonna change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really taking that one step, and you've taken a big step. So, that's a real big
Oh yeah,
accomplishment.
and it's definitely led me to other changes. And um one thing we've spoken to prior and everything was um me changing my relationship with God, like
Yeah,
just wanting to improve my personal relationship. Does it mean that I'll be going to church every Sunday? No. I'm not a church going kind of person. But as far as me talking to God and me
yeah,
saying my prayers and doing my meditation and taking that time to reflect on
yeah,
my days
yes,
and reflect on, okay, what can I do tomorrow
yes,
to make my day better?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what did I do today that I don't really want to repeat? Like, I want to learn from that. Okay, that didn't work for me. Let's
yeah. I'm getting
do
God
it.
bumps.
And I'm realizing more and more, right? Because even some of the conversations that I've been having on stuck in my mind,
Mhm.
it's been about coaching and everything as well, but it's also been about learning yourself
Yeah,
and learning to be much more comfortable within yourself, and a lot of topics, lot a lot of this stuff that I've been learning about myself,
mhm.
has been some of the topics that I've been talking about on the show, and even some of the stuff that we talk about.
Yeah,
It's really been able to help me reflect and look at life and be like, all right, like this is very important to celebrate. Like
mhm. Oh, yeah,
something that I really didn't get to do last year because of, because everything with my mom and everything that went on. And but I've realized after she passed was like, I need to celebrate. We need to celebrate these moments at all time,
yeah,
regardless of what you're going through in life. If something good happens to you, celebrate that moment, cherish it, and just be like, all right, yeah, something you're going through some tough times at the moment, but right now something wonderful happening in your life. You
yeah,
just need to be like, thank you, thank you
yeah.
for this little,
Yeah, a little bit of joy or
yeah.
it's like a little treasure, right? That
Mhm.
that kind of pops up in your life. And when you're having a crappy day, like something that's really simple, like even just a smile or uh, a hug can make a huge difference in your life. And I think those are like the little moments and the little celebrations. The fact that maybe instead of having a cookie, I decided to have an apple, right?
Yeah.
You know, something like that. That's still a celebration because I'm taking care of me
Hmm.
and I'm making a better choice. And I'm like, yay for me, right? And I know it sounds silly when I do that, but you know what? It makes me feel good. So who
Yeah.
cares? My thought is, I don't care if I look silly. I'm
Yeah.
happy.
Absolutely.
And that's what matters the most, that I'm happy.
And that's something. I guess that was something I was like. So I talk about dealing with imposter syndrome
Yes.
a lot and stuff like that because I've felt like I was an imposter when I was even though I was doing some great stuff with the content and I just felt again it was the self-esteem issues because of what I saw in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of what other people saw in the mirror, because people, it, to me, my weight was an issue with far as my self confidence, but it didn't stop from the way people looked at me.
Yeah.
Still, people looked at me like, "Man, you're doing some great stuff. You're a great person. And they're like, you're doing like the podcast is doing great. You're interviewing some great people. You're
Yeah.
having some wonderful conversations. You're providing a service to other people.
Right.
You're providing something. And uh, yes, I knew what I was doing. I knew what the message was being delivered. But again, it's challenging when you don't see what other people see in you.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I totally understand that. My mentor's mentor and Tony Robbins' mentor said this: if you don't see what I see, borrow my glasses. And it's really to step out of yourself occasionally and look at yourself from somebody else's perspective. Walk in their shoes just for a minute to see what they're seeing. And we tend to forget to do that because we're in ourselves, we're in our head.
Mhm.
Like you said, like your podcast, we're stuck in our minds, right?
Yeah,
And and sometimes it's just taking that one step out and or borrowing somebody else's glasses to see what they're seeing.
yeah, because sometimes our glasses are a little foggy.
Oh yeah, it could be very foggy too sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I know my glasses are like foggy, especially when I'm in a bad place,
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not doing anything. Nobody's hearing me. Nothing I say is really an impact. And you go into those
you go into those
funky,
moments. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely, definitely. It's something that we all struggle with. We're humans.
yep,
There's times that we need that boost. We need that one person to talk to where they were like just having that conversation and they uplift you out of that
yep,
funk.
yep,
So it's important to have those relationships where someone notices you're down and they'll reach out to you and be like, "Hey, everything okay?
yep, yep,
Everything's good? Are
yep,
you all right?" And I'm blessed where I have those relationships. I have this platform with me and you where I'm able to discuss, to be able to express myself and let my hair out and down and just be able to speak on personal issues, being able to
yeah,
speak on what I'm struggling with at the moment.
mm-hmm,
And is that a sign of weakness? No, it's actually a sign of strength. Being able to show people your vulnerable side,
oh
being
yeah,
able to show people that, listen, I'm not perfect. Yes, the subjects that we discuss is very important. It's something that people need to do is self development and personal growth is very important. Every day you need to grow. Every day there's something about you that you can work on, and I'm realizing that more and more every day.
yeah, it's true. I mean, we all, you know, that's part of being here in this life, right? Is that
Mhm.
we have to evolve. Um, I think when we're stagnant is when we feel like we're itching to move around. When you're stagnant, you feel you get into that funk, and you're stuck there. And as human beings, we need to be constantly evolving, moving, and changing.
I've I experienced it with my mom, right?
Hmm.
Because when she got to the point where she was not moving, like not walking on herself. Because when she walked around and did everything, she was still vibrant and energy. And the moment she stopped moving and was confined to her bed, that's when her health and her mind really started deteriorating more and more because there was no movement, there was
Yeah,
no growth, there was not. She was just in that state, and so seeing that and everything that I've been learning throughout the years, and especially these past 5 years with the podcast and my personal self development journey and growth, and just really seeing it firsthand like that has really made an impact where it's like I need to keep moving.
yeah,
I got to keep growing. I got to keep learning. I got to keep moving forward. And regardless of what obstacles again are thrown your way, you just keep going.
yeah. And as you keep going, you gain more confidence in what you're doing. And I think the other thing that we have to keep in mind is to give ourselves grace when we don't, even if we move forward, sometimes we fall down, right?
Hmm.
And sometimes we slip and things happen. And I think it's to give ourselves grace when that does happen. Say, okay, well, that didn't work out the way we wanted it, but that's okay. At least we did it. And it's like speaking up for myself. Just recently, I had a situation where I really had to create my boundaries.
Mm.
And that's not an easy task for me, and just to speak up and say, this is my worth. I'm worth this. And to be able to say that, it took a lot for me to do that. But once I was able to say that, I felt so much freedom. I felt so liberated when I was able to say that. And I think that makes a big difference. And for me, that's like a big celebration. So I was like, yay, I finally did it. I feel so good about it. And I think it's also, making sure that you give yourself grace and not saying, well, that was really dumb of me. I shouldn't have done that. I should, instead of that, say, hey, I tried it, and maybe it didn't work out the way I wanted it, but I learned something from it.
Yeah.
And even if the experience wasn't great, it was there for me to learn. It was there so that I can learn what my limitations are, where I needed to become more resilient or where I needed to speak up more for myself. And it was a great learning experience. And I try to figure that out in life because, hey, I don't want to be stuck in a sucky place all the time. I want
Right.
to be living happy and I want to be happy. That's and have
Yeah.
fun living life.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's something even with my wife and where we're at in our lives, it's like I'm like, what do we have to do to make your business grow and help my business grow? Because we're both tired of punching clocks. We really are, and we're both to the point where we're working towards next year being the year where we no longer punch a clock. That's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate sign of freedom for us,
Yeah.
is to be able to do what we want to do, work when we want to work, and have that freedom.
Yes.
That because why do I have to wait till I'm retired to enjoy life? Why am I not allowed to enjoy life now while I'm capable and still able
Yep.
to be able to travel and go
Hmm.
hang out with friends in other countries and go visit friends in other cities and just enjoy the time that I have left?
Yeah. And I love that. I love that. It's really, and it's okay to color outside the lines,
Yeah.
you know, because we're kind of like programmed to stay within the lines, follow the leader, and all that. I'm not just being me being, what do you call, free spirited. I'm not just being the free spirited me and saying color outside the lines. I'm saying, it's okay to to do what you want to do. Society expects, certain things, but is society correct? Do they really know who you are? No.
Not at all.
Yeah, you're the only one that knows who you really are and what you really want. So, and sometimes it's not easy going against what society expects of you, but you know what? At the end of the day, your happiness is the most important thing.
It
And like
is.
you said, life is short. You
Hmm.
know, who knows what's going to happen. So I'd rather be happy most of my days because you never know. And you can't say, "Oh, I'm just going to wait until this happens or that happens." And I have to say, I mean, yeah, I didn't, it hurt my ego when I was let go from corporate America, but it was one of the best. I wanted it actually. And deep down, that's what I wanted. And can I tell you, it has been the best feeling ever. I mean, financially, it's sucky right now. I'll tell you, financially, it's very sucky. And I'm sorry to the people that I owe money to, but but the fact of the matter is, I've never been happier in my whole life.
Yeah.
I feel so free. I love what I do. I love to coach people. I love to help people. I'm able to do that every single day. And it's like I feel like I'm living the best life right now. And except that, financially it's a little sucky right now, but I'm working towards, getting what I need and I know it's there and I'm just going for it. And I think that's what makes it happy is because I'm doing what I love to do.
And yeah, and like, and I see you every day. You're streaming live, and you're promoting your business and your website, and
I'm busting my butt.
yeah, you are. You are. I see you are. And congratulations. Because I watched Bump yesterday, and
Oh
you
yeah.
won.
Oh,
You were. I didn't get to see what you won, but you did. I see you did win something. So
oh,
congratulations.
okay. I did. I was like, I did. I don't even know what I
I
want.
don't know. I was watching Bump, and you was mentioned, and they talk.
Oh,
You was someone, I guess, but you weren't a guest. So, but you was
okay.
promoted. They was promoting you and
Oh,
talking
yes,
about something you
yes,
did and got accomplished. So
yeah.
yeah,
Because I bumped a lot of people.
yeah,
Yes, in Bump. And I love Bump. It's like such a fun community. Um, and I love that, it's a great way to meet all these different people from all walks of life.
yeah,
And I love the fact that it is global because like I'm like, "Oh, can I bump you?" Because, I want to interview her into my group or
yeah.
into my profile. And this woman was in Finland yesterday. One of the ladies was in Finland. I've never been to Finland. I don't even know much about Finland. But I was like, this is so cool. I get to interview this person there. And you get to know these people. And at the end of the day, we all, our hearts are still the same.
Hmm.
The intent to help others is still the same. And I love seeing that. And it just makes me feel more connected and more loving and having more compassion for my fellow human being, right? And it's good to know that humanity is still good. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, it's not everyone is bad in the world.
I know.
And to be able to connect with like-minded people and become a part of a community where there are so many like-minded people, it just gives you hope.
Yeah, it
It
does.
gives you hope to be able to build these relationships and have these conversations. And you're having conversations daily. Probably one or two conversations daily. I'm looking every time I'm looking up, you got a live going on with somebody.
Hey, I'm trying.
Oh no, no, I don't.
I'm
I can't.
saturating the
Listen, you have to keep going and doing what you're doing because that's the only way you're gonna see any results. You
Yeah,
have to be consistent,
yeah,
and anything you do, one of the key
yes,
things is being consistent,
it's so
is
true.
being able to continue to, and that's part of rituals and
Yeah,
habits
exactly.
and building yourself up is being consistent, is
Yeah,
having structure, is being able to go, all right, these are when I'm going to do
yeah.
alive now, alive at this time, and so you always doing interviews and speaking to some wonderful people. So I know you're learning from these
Oh,
conversations
yeah.
and to because I know how I am when I interview people and I have those conversations. I'm always like, okay, asking questions that I find important and that I want to honestly know about.
Yeah. And it's really like feeding my own curiosity as well. So it's a win-win. And yeah, it's good to be able to do things like that and really to expand your horizons
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. I find a lot of joy in that, definitely. And I mean, if it weren't for, any of that, I never would have met you.
Yes.
And I mean, I love, our conversations that we have here each week. And I'm so glad that we were resuming this because I missed it for a long time. And it's,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, no. I was like, I seen you go, seen you had to interview someone. I was like, all right, let me give her a little bit of time and I'll text her. And then you're like, I was about to text you.
yeah. Yeah, because I was like, "Ooh, this is really close interview time, right?" And I'm like, "But I should have enough time to kind of like wrap
Yeah,
it up
no,
and do it." So it's like, but yeah, I
it
love
works.
doing it, and it's a little bit of a challenge. Technically, sometimes it's a bit of a challenge to get streaming live and this and that, and but it's good because it keeps my brain working. And, one of the things that's important for me is to keep my brain working well and
Yeah.
healthy. And it's creating new neural pathways, right? Because every time you do something new, it creates something new. And that's also a ritual in a lot of ways. And I do lots of things throughout the day that are tied into my rituals. And then when I add something new, I add it. I don't know, it's maybe a trick that I learned from Tony Robbins, I'm not sure, but I add it to a ritual that I already do so that it's easier, so it becomes easier part of it. So like for instance, I just started doing about over a month ago, I started doing something called heart math. And it's a type of kind of like a meditation, it's gratitude and it's really getting into your heart center on a lot of things. And I started practicing that about a little over a month ago. And I added it to my morning rituals because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't do it. So I have I do certain things in the morning and I have my mantras or whatever affirmations that I say in the mornings, right? And my identity statements, because I have these identity statements that I say while I'm walking and while I'm doing my morning things and all this and that. So I've just added it to that because that way I can create more rituals. It's like stacking, right? You're stacking it on top of each other because
Yeah.
that way makes it easier to do. And it's the same with like when I started doing okay, I still have to do this, but I started doing more squats because I need to strengthen my bum a little bit, right? So I started doing that, and my knee was bothering me, so I wasn't doing as much. That's why, I lost a lot of muscle tone there, and I need to strengthen it. So I'm like, okay, I got to do the squats. And I'm just doing it in an easier way so that and I'm combining it, stacking it again so that I can do it. So I'm like, okay, when I'm brushing I used to do squats while I was brushing my teeth. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start doing it again. I know these are crazy things that I do, but
Oh no,
you
there's
know,
nothing crazy about it. It's if it is what it is. It
yeah,
fits. it fits what you're doing,
It fits what it.
and it gets and it gets what's supposed to get
Mhm.
accomplished with it, then there's no listen.
Yeah.
You have to do it when you have to do it. Is
Yep.
like when I'm at work, I'm sure when I'm pitting, right? The surveillance is wondering why am I walking around in the pit, like just walking laps and walking because I have to get my steps in. I got to get my
Yeah.
walk in. So I'm sure they're looking at me like, what is this dude doing?
And it's like, who cares? Because hey, I get the benefit from it.
Yes. I'm
And it really doesn't matter what someone I don't know is thinking
thinking
or
it's
caring.
true.
Yeah. Or saying because do I know this person? No, not really. Right? Do I really care what this person thinks?
Mhm.
Probably not.
No. Yeah.
I mean, if it was like a good friend, yes, then I'd really care, right? Or if it's somebody I want to impress, of course I'm going to care. But if it's just somebody that's there, uh,
This is true. This is true.
you know, would you, yeah, I mean, are you going to waste your energy on that person? Not
Absolutely not.
really. Not
Definitely not.
really, right? I'm going to be a little
Definitely
selfish
not.
and say,
Yeah.
I'm only going to waste my energy on people I care about.
Hmm. And that's the thought everybody should be taking. It. Like that's one thing where and as always we have start off one topic but we always go everywhere. But that's something that that's really affecting a lot of people today is what other people think of them.
Yeah. And it's,
Is they have to live to they're trying to live up to someone else's perception of them.
yeah.
And I refuse to do that. I choose to be me. I don't
Yes.
I act like me
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not changing up for anyone. I'm just me. I
Yeah.
don't same person that you see speaking on the podcast and is the same person I am when I'm hanging out with my friends.
Yep. I'm this crazy me all the time. I mean, I think over the past year, I've become more me. Um, I haven't been, yeah, I pretty much talk about anything and everything, and I'm pretty open to most people.
Mm,
And after I started doing this, at first I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this, maybe I shouldn't say that. But, this is all me, and I feel good with who I am.
mhm.
Um, And these are just my truths. They may not be truths for other people, but I'm just saying this works for me. This
But
is who I am.
but it's crazy, right? It's crazy how you can have issues with yourself, right? And still be yourself. Like when I was
Hmm.
talking about me being self-conscious about my weight and stuff like that, but it didn't stop me from being me. I
Yeah,
kept being me. I just hid it well. I just didn't
yeah,
show it out to the rest of the world. I, now is that I'm talking about it, and people are probably thinking like, "Huh? You don't? Why would you?" It's just something again in your own head, your mind.
yeah.
Something we're we're not perfect. We're humans. We're still gonna have those fears and those doubts and that programming that
Hmm.
which that and the thing is it's more like a safety valve that our brain does,
Yeah.
right? Because we've so programmed that we're afraid to fail and failing and criticism and all these different things we take it as if we're being attacked or if we're if it's paining is like it really hurts that someone doesn't like you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, I hate it when people say, oh, look at her. Who does she think she is? Or, it still hurts. I'm telling you, it still hurts. And still, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe but I've started realizing, and let me tell you, after living 60 years, I'm like, come on, I've lived my life, you know, um, not showing who I was, and I think I'm at that point where I'm, it's like it's okay. It's okay
Yeah.
to be who I am and to show who I am, and and I I like who I am. I love who I am.
Hmm.
So, you know, if I love who I am, that's the ultimate, isn't it?
Yep.
I don't have to please anyone but myself. And I think we have
Absolutely.
to remember that.
Yeah. And yeah, that's where a lot of us do lose track of that. That we need to remember that as long as we love ourselves and we're happy with what we're doing, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of it's their opinion.
Yeah.
It's not
And
fact. And that's
right.
where that's what it is. We let other people's opinions become our facts,
Right.
and we shouldn't. And we
No.
shouldn't allow that to affect us. And let them think whatever they want to think.
Yeah.
Just be
And
you and continue to.
yeah. And you're loved by the people that love you.
Mhm.
So, and like I said, does this person know who you really are? Is that person important to you? Is that person going to take up a lot of energy in your
Your bubble.
everyday?
Yeah,
No, right? Probably not. And I don't want to give that person extra energy if they're hurting me.
absolutely. Absolutely. But
Like,
as always, we always have a great conversation.
yes,
My my Thursdays are great when we do get to do this. I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation and had a good time. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, I hope that something that you heard can be useful today. And just remember to, just want to say one thing though. Just remember to celebrate yourself every time you achieve something, because that releases dopamine. By celebrating yourself, it releases dopamine, feel better, and then you'll want to repeat it again. And so, any good habit that you're trying to cultivate, do that because it's just going to, reinforce it in a good way.
Um, Subscribe to Brain and Belly on YouTube.
Yes,
Subscribe to Real Wise TV on YouTube because this is where that's where you'll catch cognitive cuisine,
yes,
which I will be releasing later on. Well, it'll be out because you'll find it on Real Wise TV, and
yes,
definitely go check out Brain the Belly's
yes,
YouTube page as well. So if you haven't subscribed to any of those two channels, please do hit the
yes.
notification bell because Yayoi is always releasing content constantly. So keep up
And
with
I
what she's
need
doing.
subscribers.
Yeah, let's build her up, people. People on
Yes,
Real Wide TV, if you haven't subscribed to Brain to Belly yet, please do go subscribe.
thank you.
She Joy has some great content. She has some great conversations. She definitely has amazing people on there that you can definitely learn some stuff from. So definitely tune into that.
Thank you.
And as always, thank you
Yes,
guys for tuning in and sharing your precious time with us
yes.
because that's
And
something
have
that's
a,
very
yeah,
important is being able to share this moment with you guys and hopefully you get something from us.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
And yeah, just have an amazing rest of your week. And we'll see you again next Thursday.
Absolutely. Peace.
Peace out. I'm like a little kid.